Each NFL game in overtime period begins with a coin toss at the center of the field. Prior to the coin toss, the referee will instruct one player from the visiting team to call the coin heads or tails.
What's your call? Heads is his call. It is a head.
The winner of the toss typically chooses to receive the kickoff so as to be the first on offense and generate the game's first score. However, if wind is a major factor, they may instead choose to kick. The kicking team also has the choice of which goal to defend. The object is to choose your goal in order to have the wind at your offense's back the second and crucial fourth quarter.
This is to advance to the AFC Championship game.
Winning the toss is especially crucial prior to overtime, since the first score automatically wins the game.
ESPN gets your motor running each and every Monday night with 2 hours of power we call the engine block. 2-wheel, open wheel, or off the beaten path. Brought to you the way only ESPN can. Plenty of full throttle programs to keep every motorhead happy. The Engine Block, Monday nights only on ESPN. The finest figure skaters from around the globe compete in the ISU Grand Prix. From the city of St. Petersburg, the Cup of Russia. Tuesday on ESPN.
6-3 so far, a battle of field goals in the first quarter in Lambeau Field. They have done such a magnificent job with the reconstruction of this stadium.
Isn't there a ring to Lambeau Field?
Yes.
No. What a wonderful place this is. And every announcer I've ever heard has ever done a game here, and every player that's ever played it, that's what they talk about is Lambeau Field. You've never been here, you ought to try it once, but do it in like June.
Come to an exhibition game. R.W. McQuarters. 40. McQuarters midfield. It's a foot race to the 17-yard line.
Nick Collins caught him from behind. Well, he had to make some moves, but Nick Collins had an angle on him and got him.
R.W. McQuarters, a one-time Pro Bowl return man.
Well, watch him hit this seam right here. Once he sees it, he's gone. Now, the only guy who has to juke is the kicker. When he does that, now here comes Collins on the outside. Look at 36. He's got the angle on him. McQuarters is actually going down.
They always talk about getting up as close to the wedge as you can, so as soon as the blocks are set, you can break off of them, and that's exactly what he did.
The Lions offense has been here time after time. Deep in Green Bay territory. So far, they have 2 field goals to show for it.
So far, the Lions look like a team that has won 4 games. I mean, when you think of the problems that the Lions have had, they're 4-8. The Packers are 2-10. When you look at the records, and it's really doesn't jump out at you. And then you look at the field position for the starts of these teams, and the Lions have certainly had a big advantage in that area.
And they don't need any more field goals. They need some touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Sherman and Jim Bates' defense being put to the test. Garcia with time to the corner, incomplete, but there's a flag.
That ball was intended for Charles Rogers, who's had a very difficult time getting on the field since coming back from his suspension.
Ahmad Carroll had a man-to-man.
Before the pass, holding, defense number 28. It's a 5-yard penalty, automatic.
Ahmad Carroll in his second year has just been killed by penalties. He's been called for so many of them. Very physical corner.
And Charles Rogers has been sat by Dick Duran, or deactivated, the last 2 weeks after coming back from the suspension. And he said it's very difficult to try and work yourself back up the food chain when you're really not practicing much. And the only reason he's there is because Eddie Drummond, their return man and 5th receiver, is down.
Pinner inside the 10, near the 7-yard line. Rodgers, of course, with a storied career at Michigan State, was a first-round draft choice, #2 overall. And now the Lions are trying to get back most of the bonus they paid him because of his substance abuse suspension. They want more than $10 million back out of the $14 million they gave him. It was in his contract.
$10 million, huh?
Yes, sir.
Of the 14.
Yeah.
Pinner again trying to get to the outside. Blockers in front. Takes it down to the 4. They need to reach the 1 for a first down. Paris Lennon.
I think this is a very critical drive for the Detroit Lions. We've talked about them trying to establish a winning attitude, and something Dick Duran mentioned to us last night. It's the thing that this team has not done. It hasn't finished. Well, finish has to do with the end of the game, but it also has to do with finishing drives. And they've had opportunities to put 7s on the board, and they haven't been able to finish in that area.
Joe, this is the 6th play that they've had inside the 5-yard line.
Garcia, Williams, bobbled it. Touchdown.
Boy, what a catch.
That was. Tipped it up in the air to himself, touched the toes, and appeared to have possession.
Incredible talent. And Al Harris wants this to be challenged. Garcia hangs it in a perfect spot. Al Harris turns around to make a play, but the ball is thrown too high. I don't know. It's going to be interesting once they look at it.
Well,
did you see the bobble at the end?
2.
Now, wait a minute. Does he have control of the ball? And that ball hits the ground, but if he rolls over with control of the ball, this is a catch.
This is the angle you get a chance to look at it.
He gets both feet down. He's got the ball hits the ground, but he doesn't lose the ball. He turns around with the ball in his hand. That's a catch.
Let me disagree for this reason. When the ball came up to his helmet, we had one shot already. You can see the ball move when it came up there. One of his feet had already left the ground.
I don't think it's that the receiver got 2 feet down inbounds with possession. It's being challenged by Green Bay.
Well, there was no question that there was going to be challenged.
Well, and you disagree with it already?
I do.
Okay. You can, but I'm saying it's a catch.
1, 2, other foot's down.
Watch possession.
He's got the ball.
I think he has.
Now he goes down. The ball hits the ground, but he doesn't lose the ball. And that is one of the keys, that he doesn't lose the ball. It's a catch.
Mike's talking about right here on his helmet.
He hasn't put his feet down yet. Now his right foot's down, his left foot's down. It doesn't matter if he's got it up against his helmet. He has control of the football.
If he does, it's a catch.
Well, hey, we don't start backing off now, pal.
What's amazing is really just how good this guy is. He's knocked the ball up in the air, and what he's doing is he's looking down at the sidelines to see if he gets his feet in.
His right foot, I'm telling you, his right foot is off the ground when he gets possession.
1, 2, the ball's up against his helmet.
No,
it's not.
No,
I'm sorry, it's his left foot.
Well, it's not either one of them.
We disagree with you. Roy Williams enlightened us in an incredible way when we had a chance to sit with him. Here's a young man who was a #1 pick in 04, came into the league, thought it was a 12-3 league, which means you went to work at 12 o'clock, you were finished at 3 o'clock, you didn't have to do a lot of work after that. He found out that there's a lot more to it. But also, one of the things that I question about this wide receiving core is you have 3 #1s as wide receivers, and Scotty Vines, who was a basketball player. You have no veteran leadership to teach these young guys how to study, and that was brought up to us by Roy Williams. He said he's looking for a mentor.
I'll tell you what was interesting what he said too, that when he was a junior, the reason he didn't come out, they said he would be the #2 or #3 pick in the draft. He said, wait a minute, I'm going back. I want to be the #1 player taken in the draft. And that's why he went back for his senior year. That's incredible.
What I don't understand, if you think you need a mentor as a young player, they've got Marcus Pollard, the tight end, who's an 11-year veteran. If you can't find one on your own team, go somewhere else. Find somebody. If you're that hungry to learn, go learn.
Mike, but you still, I understand what you're saying, but I can tell you as a player, if there is someone lining up in front of you, showing you how to run routes, showing you how to look at film, showing you how to study on your team that plays that position, it's much easier to grow and get better. He doesn't have anybody to help him.
Well, of course it's much easier, but every position doesn't have a leader.
After reviewing the play, the receiver bobbled the ball, but before he got 2 feet down, the right foot drag with control, maintained control out of bounds.
Touchdown.
Score is good.
Hello. I couldn't have explained it any better. I tried to tell you. Okay, here it comes. Look at this. Here it is. The ball's up in the air. Here's where the bobbling is. And you're right there. But when he brings that ball in, now he has control. It's against his helmet. And when he hits the ground, the ball hits, but he maintains control, which is part of the whole deal, and it's a touchdown.
I bow to greater wisdom, and boy, it hurts to say that.
You talking about me?
Unfortunately, I am. That's why it hurt.
Hey, I don't get many right.
Yes, you did.
You didn't jump in.
I did. I agree with you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
See, this Christmas time.
It's the Christmas miracle we've all been waiting for. Hanson with the extra point. Detroit takes the lead on a very cold and silly night in Green Bay. Has this one picked. Clinton Hart, the strong safety, will take it all the way for 70 yards. This is a pickup. Snow to a slashing James. LeBron James with 10.
This is Cashman, though, for Atletico Madrid. He has done it! Mateja Cashman strikes.
Wait and see. First and 10. And that is intercepted inside the 30 by Andre Dyson. And Andre Dyson is out in front, and nobody's going to catch him.
Sanders, there's that cutback move. Look out! Holy cow, what a run by Sanders. Flips the tackle. Has 10, 15. Goodbye! He was something special. Most exciting running back I ever saw, Barry Sanders.
What a night that was at the Pontiac Dome. And to see him on the turf be able just to make people stop and stare and watch him go by him. And, of course, the Tampa Bay Bucks had their creamsicle uniforms at that time, too.
And never got him dirty playing against Barry. Ahmad Carroll is deep as the Packers will get the ball back. Runs up to the 14, gets a handle on it. Across the 30 and then smacked down as he got to the 33.
You know, Mike, one of the things about Barry Sanders that every time we looked at him, you take a look at his numbers, are just incredible.
His average per season was better than Jim Brown. Of course, he played 16-game seasons most of the time compared to what Brown had only 14-game seasons. But he was just a remarkable running back. Inducted into the Hall of Fame 2004. Quit before his time, certainly.
No question about that.
Samcon Gatto, good blocking up front, and Gatto up to the 36-yard line.
You know, the one thing other about Barry Sanders, Joe, that every time that we did a game and we watched him, it was you just always had the feeling that every time he touched it, he could go the distance. He had just, I mean, new vision was unbelievable. He could see the hole. The funny part about it is every defensive player we ever talked to said, hey, just wait home. He'll come back.
He was a little bit like Walter Payton, I think, because when the Bears struggled, Walter Payton still got his numbers and everybody focused on stopping him. It's the same thing with Barry Sanders. You knew that that was the Lions offense. And if you could contain him, you could beat him.
We've reached the end of the first quarter. Lions on top of the Packers, 13-3.
Relive another great moment on ESPN. Could he do it again? Would Adam Vinatieri hit another last-second field goal to nail down another Super Bowl victory for the New England Patriots?
And Vinatieri's kick down the middle. The kick is good.
And the New England Patriots were Super Bowl champions for the second time in 3 years. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
Great night for football tonight. Lambeau Field, Brett Favre. Woo!
Boy, you got to love football to want to play in this weather. And Roy Williams is a superb talent, and he gets the first touchdown of the ball game on a great catch. And makes the Lambeau leap as well.
Well, the Green Bay Packer people caught him and threw him back.
I'm still impressed with the way that he had the ball and was working with it and still looked down to see where the end line was to get his feet in. That was impressive.
Favre takes over and has them in a 2nd and 6 at the 36. Gatto. Very close to the first down. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, we all love the joy that Brett Favre plays the game with, and you have to wonder, where's the joy in 2 and 10? But he insists nobody loves competing more than he does. He loves competing in practice. He loves being out here against the opposing defense. He loves throwing touchdowns at Lambeau Field. He said no matter what, that's where he still finds the joy.
Susie, he is just so much fun to be around, so much fun to talk to. And it's going to be a very, very sad day for all of us when he's not in this business anymore.
Well, he's coming back. I'm telling you right now, he's coming back next year.
Gatto picking his way through the defense, takes it up to the 49.
Going back to what Susie just said, it isn't just in a game, but it's everything that has to do with football. There he is coming out onto the field in pregame, and he's throwing these deep balls, just winging it around. Evidently, it wasn't exactly a spiral. He shot that one out. They tried to give him a glove. Evidently, they gave him too small a glove. His hand looks like it's been through a hamburger grinder, too. I mean, that right hand is beat up. It doesn't bother him.
Got an incredible sense of humor. It's his 100th game at Lambeau Field, the most of any player. Dumps that one underneath, and it's caught by Donald Lee, the tight end. He'll get a lot more playing time tonight along with David Martin because Bubba Franks is injured again, and Dre Bly was in on the tackle.
And it's very important that the Green Bay Packers continue to run the football. When I talked to Tom Rossley, their offensive coordinator, he said, our identity is a running football team, and then we can run our play passes and our boots off of it. But with all the injuries we've had to the running backs, we haven't really had a chance to establish that.
And with Donald Driver as the primary passing target, without Javon Walker, they have to be able to run the ball. Henderson, the veteran fullback, close to another first down at the Lions 41. Wally Rayner, who is playing for the injured Boss Bailey, makes the tackle. Remember, they are on their 5th running back. They lost Green, Walker, and Franks. Walker and Franks being the tight end and their top receiver. And these are the numbers they put up a year ago. 26 scores last year absent from your offense, and Brett Favre has been put in the situation where, yeah, you can play it safe, maybe keep it close, maybe not be embarrassed, or you can go out and take the chances he always does and try to win.
You ever heard him complain?
No, sir.
Ever? I have never.
And around Chapman. Nice cut to get something out of it. Defense pretty well by the Lions.
Well, the Lions were up in Corey Redding, number 70, excuse me, Dan Wilkinson, number 72. They were up on the outside. And I'll tell you what happens here is Chapman, just take a look what he does. He saves a loss right here. He sees the two big guys in the white shirts. He cuts right back to the inside and picked up 3 yards on the play.
And Dan Wilkinson is in his 12th year. He and Sean Rogers, the two interior tackles, really matched up well in the first game when the Packers were trying to adjust to 2 of their veteran guards leading.
Rogers is a wonderful player, who's going to be an anchor for that line for a long, long time. Brett Favre operating the offense right now. That pass was complete to Martin. The way he operates the 2-minute drill, he says, just move the chain.
Yeah, but this isn't a 2-minute, and you watch. He is not the most patient person in the world. They've got a 3rd and short. I think they'll pick up the first down, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to take a shot with the next play after if they do make the first down.
Well, Kevin Berry, number 71, comes in as an additional blocker up front.
He's a tight end, and he has to report, and he's been in on about 10 plays so far.
Gatto picks his way and should have the first down. Forward momentum gets him to about the 30 and a half. He needed the 31 for a first down.
And Sam Gatto has done a better job with every game. When you talk to Mike Sherman, he talks about his vision being better, his feel for the holes, his patience. And Mike Sherman isn't sure that this guy really is the answer or can play, but he can.
Well, he said, I'm not sure he's a bona fide running back in the NFL yet. And Sam Gatto took that to mean, you know, he's really doing me a favor. He's not putting a lot of pressure on me to perform, and I don't know whether I'm a bona fide running back in this league or not.
I was impressed with his confidence, though, when we asked him about his pass blocking, because that is something he wanted to work on. He said, you mean on a scale from 1 to 10? I said, yeah. He said a 7. And I think that's pretty impressive, because he just doesn't want anything to happen to Brett. You got to go for it.
Inches short.
You have to go for it. It's cold. You're probably at the outer range of Ryan Longwell's field goal abilities on a cold night like this.
It would be about a 50-yarder from here.
And I watched him kick in warm-ups, and it wasn't easy getting it that far.
Paul, you were talking earlier about how cold the ball is and how hard it is to kick in weather like this.
You know, especially when you're a kicker and you're standing on the sidelines and, you know, for an hour and a half, your foot's frozen, and that ball is like a rock. I'll tell you what. Lowell is very happy that they're not trying a field goal.
Out of the eye. Leach is in as the blocker. Gatto takes it outside to the 21-yard line.
Now, Mike, I'm going to tell you, he's a bona fide runner in the National Football League, because I'll tell you what he just did. Sam Gatto, the play was called right off tackle. Watch him move. Watch him adjust. His feet back to the outside. He adjusts to the block, and now he picks up the first down. Watch his feet adjust. Boom, there. Now back out to the outside. Now inside again, follows his blocker. There aren't many backs that do more than that, you know.
That's pretty good.
Not a bad average, 4.2 yards per carry.
And now getting his first chance to run tonight, Tony Fisher, who had a chance to start earlier in the year. Before they settle on Gatto.
I think Sam Gatto is now not in awe of standing next to Brett Favre all the time.
I think Brett's a little bit in awe of standing next to Sam Gatto. As a matter of fact, he's tickled to have a running back like him next to him.
You bet he is. This guy, I mean, you talk about a young man that will just do anything you ask him to do to get better and to help his team.
He is a charming and humble young man, and you just hope he has continued success. Maybe a yard for Fisher, and there's a flag down at the end of the play as McQuarters came up to make a stop along with middle linebacker Earl Holmes.
Illegal block in the back. And the offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Penalty on Robert Ferguson.
Wide receivers trying to block. They're just not used to doing that, and what happens is when you come down in motion and you think you want to seal the end, all the linebackers do is turn their back to you, and you wind up getting a penalty. It's hard for them not to try and hit somebody, but it seems like they always wind up blocking backers in the back.
And you have to have blocking from wide receivers to make the running game go. You'll never get a big play without it.
Detroit substituting.
Thurman comes in as the third wide receiver along with Chapman. Now they have 4 and an empty backfield as Fisher goes out. Favre looks, throws over the middle, and it looked like Ferguson stopped his pattern there. Let's go to Chris Berman for a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
All right, Michael, gang, good evening. Of course, you know by now the Indianapolis Colts, by beating Jacksonville by 8, secure home field advantage through the playoffs in the AFC. Oh, by the way, 4th team ever to go 13-0 out of the gates. According to the Boston Globe, the Boston Red Sox, Roger Clemens' first teams have expressed interest in, if he wants to play in 06, how about coming back to Fenway? We will see you at halftime with our fastest 3 minutes, with our halftime heroes. We're talking football on a good day of pigskin, guys.
All right, Boomer, thanks. 3rd down here. Favre back to throw. Complete to the sideline, down to the 20 to the tight end David Martin. And this will get the field goal unit on.
And that, Mike, you're exactly right. Those 5 yards give you the opportunity to give Ryan Longwell a chance to be able to kick the field goal. Had he not picked it up and the pass was incomplete, probably would have been a lot more difficult decision. Certainly been a lot tougher kick.
They'll spot it at the 28, so it's a 38-yard field goal try. He's already hit from 36.
Impressive job by Detroit's defense there, shutting down that offense.
Block. Right back into the hands
B.J.
of
Sanders.
Sander, the holder.
Well, you talk about how lucky this was. It comes right back to the holder.
This could have gone for 75 yards and a touchdown. It looked like Jared DeVries gets credit for the block. Right up the middle.
The PGA Tour presents the Franklin Templeton Shootout. Tiburon Golf Club in Naples, Florida hosted the event for the 5th consecutive year. Heading into the final round of the partner tournament, Kenny Perry and John Houston found themselves trailing the leaders by 2 strokes. They opened the event with a 64 in the modified alternate shot format and a 63 in the best ball round. But on Sunday, they scrambled their way to a 13 under 59 and a 2-stroke victory.
Kenny Perry and John Houston have won the 2005 Franklin Templeton Shootout.
It was the first win for both Perry and Houston at Greg Norman's yearly tournament. Congratulations, Kenny Perry and John Houston, the 2005 Franklin Templeton Shootout champions.
Las Vegas is the site for another season of poker. All your favorite card players have returned to compete for big cash prizes, while a newcomer has his sights set on the ultimate title. Ladies and gentlemen, we present the 2005 World Series of Poker, Friday on ESPN.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. McDonald's. And K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
3-time NFL MVP tonight, making his 218th consecutive start. Detroit, after a great block of a field goal try, takes over at the 28-yard line, and Kevin Jones is back in the ball game after suffering what appeared to be a serious arm injury earlier in the ball game.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty, it's still first down.
Kelly Butler, the starting right tackle. The Lions, with beneficiaries of great field position outside of that first drive, they have not had to do it on their own. Only a 13-yard drive the second time and under 20 the second time.
Well, last 14 plays, Detroit had the ball. They were inside the Packers 20. Kevin Jones is back in the ball game.
He'll get the carry. And Jones thrown back at the 25.
Well, here's how we lost Kevin Jones in the first series. Damian Woody, he gets his right arm caught under his left arm and under Damian Woody's at the goal line. Watch this. Here's his arm cut, and then Damian Woody falls on top of it. And here's the guy back in the ball game. That's unbelievable. It was an elbow injury.
Looked like a whole arm, shoulder, everything
man.
injury.
Jones 5 carries 47 yards. He broke a long one right at the start of the ball game. This pass complete underneath to Marcus Pollard. Tremendous acquisition from the Indianapolis Colts. A very good tight end.
Jeff Garcia looks like an entirely different quarterback today than he did against the Minnesota Vikings a week ago. He was wild. His feet were really active and busy. He threw off balance. He looks very controlled in the pocket. He's made some excellent throws. The one to Roy Williams, he put the ball the only place that Williams could get it, in the end zone. And he's really run this offense very efficiently.
Well, Joe, I think people forget he's coming back off of his own injury. He had a broken bone in his leg, a high ankle sprain in the last preseason game. So Joey Harrington basically won the starting job by default because of Garcia's injury. This one is intended for Mike Williams, the rookie wide receiver out of USC, and they have some huge wide receivers on this team.
Well, Jeff Garcia thought he had Mike Williams coming across the middle all by himself. And what happened is the Green Bay Packers defense, or linebackers, just only stepped back about 1.5 yards, and they waited on him coming across, and Mike Williams saw them.
Harris will punt to Antonio Chapman. First punt in this game, late in the first half. Chapman at the 25. Tried to make the spin move to get away to start the return, but Andre Goodman, with a tremendous job on special teams, makes the tackle. Timeout on the field, 6:20 to go in the half.
Can you be a poker player and not have a nickname?
They call me the Quiet Lion.
Kamikaze career, baby.
It's awesome, man. Greg Raymer. I love the colorfulness, the different characters it creates.
Crazy who's the professor of poker.
Empty seat. There's like 27 Steves and 80 Petes.
It's easier to remember a nickname than it is to remember the guy's real name. It's Miami John instead of John Cernuto.
Geography has always been a popular source for finding a nickname.
Lamb Roller Slim.
Texas Dolly.
Crazy Canuck.
The Flying Dutchman.
Give me the money, damn it!
At the poker table, you may find yourself next to a master.
You sit next to the master.
I move furniture, man, for a living. Now I'm sitting next to you.
My nickname is Mike the Mouth.
God shall give it, and God shall take it away.
My nickname is Wookie.
Jake Plummer and the Broncos head to Buffalo to clash with the Bills on Saturday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN to kick off an NFL double coverage weekend. Then on Sunday, Michael Vick and the Falcons go to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. That's on Sunday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Let's check in with Susie.
Mike, there's been so much talk whether Aaron Rodgers should be seeing playing time. I talked to him before the game, and he said he's a competitor. Of course he'd like to be playing, but he knows his role. He's disappointed to hear anyone say that Brett should sit, that Brett deserves to go out on his own terms. Aaron said he's never seen anyone love the game so much. He said if it happens next season, he'd be okay with having the same role as Brett's backup.
Well, that's great to hear, Susie. And I don't know anyone that's ever been around Brett Favre or respects this game that would think he hasn't earned the right to go out on his own terms, because he's not going to disrespect this game. He's not going to hang around to try to get records. He's not going to hang around for his own motivation. He's going to stay for the team.
And I also think it's an advantage for Aaron Rodgers to sit for a while. He'll have a long career here. I mean, if he plays well in Green Bay, he'll be here a long time.
Sure.
You look at Brett's career, and most guys will play 10 years. It's a chance for him to learn the professional game from one of the really true pros.
And there is reason to be optimistic about next year if they get all their guys back, the people that were injured this year. And how about Sam Congato? R.W. McQuarters can't catch him. And Sam Congato has just gone 64 yards for a touchdown. Are you kidding?
You think Mike Sherman's becoming a believer in him now?
He's a pro player. You know what? They've been putting in Kevin Berry, number 71, and letting him play the tight end. They opened up that whole right side. Sam Congato got to the outside, and he was gone.
What great patience. A lot of guys would try and cut this up. Look at the patience he has. Stretch it out, stay behind Mike Flanagan, number 58, your center, and then show him some speed for a guy that's 225 pounds.
Tell you what, R.W. McQuarters can run, and he couldn't catch him.
Yeah, but look at these guys. The blocking up inside was just incredible.
And the Packers get a touchdown to cut into that Lions lead. We're in Green Bay, where Sam Congato is becoming a household name.